Are you about ready?
Yeah, in a bit.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by
Benadryl.
Well, you get eaten alive by mosquitoes. And your feet are hurting.
So last night we had the update from Shantanna-Keaton where we were being attacked by millions,
Swarms.
literally millions of mosquitoes.
Yes.
It was crazy. So,
One of the worst nights of sleeping of my life. It's right up there with sleeping in a sailboat off of Malibu. Like this. All night.
Otherwise, this sounds nice. I was in a sailboat off of Malibu. That was the worst night of my
It
life.
is. But it was this all night in a small sailboat.
so you and I chased mosquitoes. Well, you hibernated at 7:30,
I made, yes.
and you made a tent.
About 10 o'clock I made a tent.
Okay.
Yes.
You were like Swiss Family Robinson.
I did. I scavenged the house and found boards and stools.
You made a tent.
And I made a tent. And I slept in a tent. I found a cabinet that was full of sheets. I took 6 sheets to make my tent for
They're
it.
gonna wonder.
And I folded them all nice
Oh, okay.
again. This morning I got them folded them all neatly.
And then we spent 3 hours, 3 solid hours whacking. I got an itch when I started thinking that. Whacking mosquitoes.
Yep. One thing we didn't talk about on the video last night is also when you get up at midnight to go to the bathroom, you realize the house is filled with giant geckos that come out
Yeah.
of who knows where, behind the
One
toilet.
came up behind the toilet this morning when I went.
So, but anyway, that was yesterday.
Yes, and so on to today.
On to the day.
So we woke up and we were just kind of irritated.
Well, I woke up, I had some weird stomach thing happening. So I woke up at like 5.
You thought you were gonna throw up.
Yeah. I was like, something's not right. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe the fact that you overheated your body by sleeping
in under a
down
down.
blanket and
With socks and pants and a long sleeve shirt on and
Over
a
your
shirt
head.
over my face.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to get bit. And you know what happened? I got bit.
Yep. But we made it through the night.
did.
Yeah.
And then we looked at each other and went, should we finish our Coca-Colas from the night before
For
as
breakfast?
And I think we all agreed that little water, little Coke, and
And then you had a piece of gum, and things started to get right with the world.
Right.
So our driver was picking us up at 9
9.
to go to the museums today.
Yep.
And but we took a little walk.
It is.
before
Like
that.
always, I get antsy and I can't sit. And
We were locked in the gate again.
yep, so I found the guy and said, I want to walk. And you guys said, let's go.
So we took a little neighborhood walk, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we went and we looked at the very house next door to us and went, this is kind of neat. It's kind of abandoned-y kind of thing. And then we went one more and went, whoa, these guys have some money.
The house has got big, multiple cars, beautiful
Beautiful
gardens.
gardens.
So there's all these lots, and you could tell at one time this was a fancy neighborhood that the jungle has taken back over, other than the ones that people are still living in. Nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
That was a nice walk, and we all said, wow, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that actually
Pepped our spirits up.
that changed the tone of the day. Driver came. This is going to be a long update, I think. By the way.
Maybe.
So the driver came. We go to the first place.
And he said, and we
We're
said,
like, okay.
okay.
So that's the one thing I've realized on this trip, which I'd known before, but it was more prevalent on this trip. When you don't know what the guy is saying or what anybody's saying, you say, okay.
Okay, that's
So
what
he'd
he
be
said.
saying, I'm going to kill you and your family too.
Okay, okay.
But
So-
anyways, he took us
Yeah. Where did he take us? He took us to the first
to the
museum.
first museum, which opens at 2:30.
The guy's all, no. The guard was like, no, get back in your car.
Yeah.
Right?
So then the second one opens at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
What the heck? That wasn't a mosquito, though.
No.
That's a fluttery
That's still something that could be
that
said.
needs to die.
So then we finally found a museum that opened at 9:30,
Yeah, and we got there at 9:20.
which was actually kind of a cool place.
It was.
it
But
was-
the best part is that there's a little cart there. The guy was making breakfast. And I went, you guys just want some Lay's American style.
Yeah, they call them Lay's American Styles.
Sour cream and onion. And they tasted exactly
It
like
was a 5 rupee bag of Lay's. And you got about 5 Lay's.
about 5 chips in it.
But
That was breakfast.
it was like, oh, this tastes good. Yeah. So we washed it down with a little more Coke and our chips.
And
Breakfast.
breakfast at Champions. And then it was the cultural center. And again, it was cool. We first walked in, it was like, oh, statues.
Yeah.
But then the backside was like all of the different styles of houses
It was
of
pretty
all the
cool.
regions of
It
India.
was just nice to walk around.
And it was.
Not having any agenda.
Yeah, it was really nice. We bought some
Handicrafts.
handicrafts. They're cheap.
Really ridiculous.
Like I felt like bad when the lady like couldn't give me
You
change.
were like,
I'm
"Hand
like,
me your extra money."
I'll
I'll
just grab 2
I'll just
more
take more of your
these.
product rather than the change.
Yes. Well, she didn't have any change, so I just gave that.
She had so much change, she just wanted you to buy more of her product.
So, anyways, you know,
But your $1.10 was pretty good.
100 rupees got me a lot of stuff. Then we got back in the car.
We did, and we heard,
Tagore.
Okay.
So where did we end
Well,
up?
first, no, we walked out there because he had said, I'm gonna be parked down here.
No, that was the other
That was the other place.
Okay, never mind. Then what did we do?
We walked out and we went, where is he? And Amanda said, he's right there. He was sitting in one of the tuk-tuks or tom-toms or whatever they call
Toto.
it. Totos.
No.
Yeah, he was in a Toto. And then he came and drove us.
Keep talking, one minute, I just need to respond.
He drove us to the next museum. And he was like, something here. I will park up the street left. But he didn't say it that way. He just said, I'll give you the left street car park. We went, oh, okay, there. And he went, mm-hmm. And he left. And we walked up and it said it was 10 rupees to go visit it or 300 rupees for foreigners. We all kind of looked at each other and went, and it said no photography whatsoever.
Yeah.
We kind of went like, what are we going to do now?
We let him drive away, and we stood across the street
Yeah,
in the shade.
in the shade and watched
For
people.
half an hour.
We went, I think that's been long enough to make
And
it think
actually, I
we
think
saw
we had
that.
more fun doing that.
Yeah, then
People
we
watching
would've.
than we would have at the museum.
Yeah, because
So we-
giant groups of school kids were going into museums, and it was like,
So we walked all the way down to the corner. He wasn't there. But what it was, there was a vendor who sold me a giant coconut.
That was a
del-
big old
oh,
coconut.
It was
bigger than your
delicious. So then we said, well, that car back there must have been him. So we walked all the way back.
But
to
we also bought but next to the coconut guy.
Oh,
we
the
got
10 rupee
the 10
bag.
rupee bag of Lay's.
That was like brunch. That was like Sunday brunch.
It was. We had Sunday brunch, and you had a middle course of coconut water.
Yes.
So we walked all the way back, yeah.
He was.
Still
That wasn't his
wasn't
car.
him.
So we walked all the way
All
back.
the way back.
Again to the
He
Lay's.
walked further.
The Lay's guy. Yeah, we walked further.
Even further, yep. And then you finally went,
I'm
man,
just
I
gonna try
don't
to
want to call him, but I
I don't
guess
want
I
to
will.
call him because I know that what's going to happen. He's going to go.
So you called him and he said,
Yeah, I said, Steve, finished. Can't find you. At the corner. And he says, corner, finish. Boop, and he was there. Like,
yeah, like within 10
So
seconds.
I don't know where he was hiding with
There
his
he
car.
was.
But
Then he said, Deer Park.
The call worked out better than it did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Deer Park.
Then he said, Deer Park. We said, okay, Deer Park.
And you're a deer guy, so you were excited about that.
I was.
Dude, that was actually really cool.
And again, we started
Good
walking
walk.
and there was a ton of deer.
There was big bucks.
There's
all
spotted deer.
Spotted
And they're just enclosed, and it's, in this enclosed area. It's pretty big where the deer can walk, but they have these spots to feed them.
Mhm.
And there must have been, 50 deer in each thing feeding?
Yeah, at least. So it's pretty cool.
And then we walked up the blind.
Yes. Walked there 15 stories up. Did a little Facebook Live for friends and family, and then walked back down and walked out in the deer park. And then he said, lunch? We're like, okay, thinking, and this was our big worry about today. Last night was our big worry about today, was where are we going to eat? And I had settled in my mind that I wasn't eating today.
Yeah.
Because I did not enjoy yesterday's meal, and the thought of having that again, just,
was-
and there's no, it's not like, let's go down to the cafe and get a,
Yeah, something different.
sandwich or whatever. There's nothing. So I just resigned myself to not eat. Well, then he said lunch. I'm like, well, we gotta eat though.
Yeah.
And I remember there was Chinese food on that menu because he goes, same place? We're like,
Okay, Jordan
Okay.
said it's safe. And we both went, yeah, they got rice.
so, yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling at this point? You were feeling better?
Yeah. It's fine.
Chips were starting to kick in.
Yeah. It's like.
And again, we,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I don't know what I was gonna say, so
Okay.
just go ahead.
Again, we were gonna order a Coke. Sprite only.
Yeah.
But we also wanted egg rolls. No egg rolls.
Not possible.
So then you said, okay, these Chinese noodles.
No.
No. And then he starts going, none of this.
Yes.
None of this on the menu you can order.
Okay.
All the stuff we
we'll,
want.
We'll have a Coke. Only Sprite.
And then you went, they have French fries. So you had like 2 orders of French
I said,
fries.
let's just try it and see what happens. And you know what?
They tasted
They
like
tasted
French
like
fries.
French fries. And so we had French fries and rice. And,
Chicken fried rice.
little baby Sprites.
You were like, yeah.
The funny thing about the rice, though, we were like, "How big is it?" We were like, "Okay, we'll get a thing of rice."
And
He
share.
goes, "Oh, very small."
Yes.
He comes back, the plate's like this big.
That's a
it's full.
huge thing of rice.
We
They
ordered
eat a
3.
lot of rice.
We
Yeah.
ordered 3, and so we all had like mountains
We had a
of
lot
rice.
left over.
Oh,
But I knew I needed it. That was one of those meals where you just like go, okay,
It filled the belly good.
yeah, it's got to fill my belly, and that's all it did, and that was fine.
So we felt pretty good. And then he said a great thing. He's like, go back to the house and take a rest.
Yeah, at first we're thinking, I don't want to swat mosquitoes.
But we also thought, I don't want to go to any
I don't want to
more
ride
museums.
anymore. And conversations with him were so difficult. Like I was saying earlier, how is it like that I can go up the road, up that way, up the road, and see what we can see, you know, that kind of stuff? They just do this. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what they just like, if they repeat it 17 times to you, I'm going to eventually know how to speak Bengali. Like, there's no hand signals,
No.
there's no, so.
So we went back to the house, which was actually awesome because we all 3 of us plopped down on that front porch.
Yeah.
You sat in the Grecian chair with
Yes.
the folding arms.
To
I laid down on
delivery
the
chair.
cement, the cement wall, and you laid down the other cement wall.
yeah.
And it felt wonderful.
It was awesome.
There was no bugs. I remember laying there and going, guys, I get it now.
So
I could read a book.
I'm relaxing there, and apparently I fell asleep.
You were asleep. Amanda came out and I said, I think he's asleep. And she goes, that's a man sleeping.
And all of a sudden, in my dead sleep, I hear,
I said, I'm trying to think exactly how I said it.
No freaking
Yeah, that's what I
way!
said. No freaking way. That's a monkey.
and I was really loud. I'm like, what? No, you said, no freaking way.
What is that? That's a monkey. And Amanda sprung up like a dog from a dead sleep. Like, "Bring!" And she bolts over, like leaps off of the.
She's hurdling
the
flowers. And
She's like, where? And I'm like, by that blue thing. And she jumped on the fence and went, it's right there.
It's huge.
It was gigantic.
It was like 3
I
feet
think
tall.
that was the size of me almost.
It was big.
If
Yeah.
it stood up.
If it stood up, it would have been the size of you.
It's a big
I'm
monkey.
going, it's a baboon. That's what they look like, baboons.
So we heard them last night. They sound like a dove.
Amplified.
But amplified really good.
But we had no clue that they were monkeys.
Oh.
You were
No.
just thinking they were, well, they got really deep sounding doves.
Buff dogs.
Yeah, they were buff doves.
So I finally went, you know what, it says monkey. I went, I'll bet you Google Translate could do that. So I typed in monkey and translated to Bengali and went to the lady that takes care, and I started pushing and it was like, how do you say monkey again? Do you remember?
Bandu.
Badu. And she went, yeah, Badu. And I'm like, no, over there, Badu. She went, Badu. And I'm like, I need the key.
Yes.
And then, but she went and got her son. And I'm like, there's Badus down there. And he went, And she's like, he knows she was like, him, Badu. And it's like, you're going to show us?
She's just saying her son's like a monkey.
Yeah. And he's over there going, Yeah, his name's Badu, probably.
And then you decide, now's the time that I'm going to start talking about karate with again. I want to go see the monkey. And you're having so you're an orange belt. You know this one hot. You know this one hot. Come on, we got the key. Let's go.
So we went down the end of the road and...
Well, we went down and looked for Badu.
Oh yeah, I looked in the bushes where I thought he was.
No Badu.
There was nothing.
In the meantime, there's 6 deer walking past and a couple cows, but no
And the
Badu.
goats came by.
And the goats came by.
That's right. That's right. So we just worked away from where they
Yeah,
ended
so
up being.
Let's just walk down the street and take another walk again.
We said, this road looks good, and we walked all the way down.
And we said, can we get back to the place if we go down this road? And we're like, sure. Badu!
Yeah, there they
Badu!
2 of them.
Sitting on the fence.
Hanging out.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
They were literally lounging. And the one guy was really lounging in a not appropriate style.
Yeah.
He was a male. But we started taking pictures, and I kind of started to go like, how close can I get? As you're saying, you know, these monkeys they're really mean, and I'm like,
can be very
oh, so I
aggressive.
kind of kept my distance, and I kept like finding people, and I'm like, Badu, and they just like, they ride by on their bikes.
Or the kid that screamed as he went by. He was
Yeah.
like, "Ah!"
I'm trying to think, have you guys, and they acted like I always see them all the time.
Which they probably do,
Yeah.
since they're in their neighborhood.
Except for the little boy, he was scared.
So then you look
So I
up.
walked past,
Yeah.
and then I looked up, and I'm like, guys, they're all over. The whole tree was filled with them.
It was a Badu tree.
It's a Batu tree. So we took some pictures.
And then Badu said,
And then we said,
So one of them came from way up high and down the fence. There was another one sitting way down there posing for us, nice. But he like pushed one of them off.
yeah.
Boom! And the other one jumped down. He looked at us and went,
Yeah.
and we all went, oh! We started backing up. Amanda takes off. And then we start going, I'm wondering, should I not look at him in the eye and walk away? And you kept going, is he still following us?
And he was
And
getting
I'd stop.
faster.
Yeah.
He was getting faster. And I was like,
and there's
no!
a guy on a bicycle that also
Stops.
and this stands completely still, and we're like, if that guy is standing completely still,
Yeah, and that froze the monkey when he came up. And then it sat down again like, oh, I'm going to relax here on the road. And then that guy went around him real fast. And we're like, oh, good, it's safe again. As soon as the bike went by, he like went,
and then his friends
kill the
started
white
going.
people. Yeah, and then we're like, there's 2 of them now.
Yeah, and so then we start walking again, and guess what? Badu says, let's pick up steam.
Yeah.
He starts
As
running.
he's got his teeth
Oh,
showing.
gosh.
And so here's the 3 whiteys in rural India
Yeah.
being chased down by 6 monkeys now.
And then we turned the corner fast, and they kind of went straight and stopped in like the 4 corners of the road.
Yeah.
This dirt road. He just kept
Going,
looking
I
at
dare
us
you,
like,
I dare you.
come on back, come on back.
And then the real scare.
Well, then we walked.
Yes.
And then then that one kind of went on, and then all of a sudden like 2 more went by.
Yeah.
And then we're like, man, it's like, there's another one. There's
They
another
turned
one
into
by.
a Badu
And then it was
tree.
like, there went another one. And there was like,
And then we were
10
playing
of
with
them.
little puppies that came up with their cute little ears.
Yeah,
and
we were
all of a
kinda
sudden
done.
We just hear, ah! And we were like,
a woman screaming.
Like she
and
had
then
gotten murdered.
silence. And we're like, that lady just died. She just got killed by a monkey.
And then somebody said, look at those kids. Running. One kid's pedaling a bike and a little
One's
kid's
running.
running. And they're going, Mom, Mom, Mom.
Yeah, we were like, what do we do? Like we just heard a murder.
But monkeys, back on monkeys.
Then a few minutes later, they came back.
I was screaming.
Mom! The other way. Back at the monkeys. I need to get her body. But we'll read tomorrow. See if
I'm
there
just
was.
glad that we did not have to scream.
Amanda Markston! Yeah.
Yeah. And then probably about 5 minutes later, all the dogs in the neighborhood went crazy. And there was some yelping and then silence. So I think my little puppy friend got eaten.
Oh, that was bloody murder of a puppy, man. That was
Yeah.
like.
And then quiet.
And then quiet. It's very eerie.
And then like 4 dogs came running up the road too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh, we're not going to stick around. And they were barking. But,
So right after puppy chow, George called
yeah.
with some very good news. So we've been struggling with our.
We didn't have a ticket to go
We
home.
didn't have a confirmed ticket to come home.
And he kept
All we
saying,
had was
"Just get
waitlisted-
on the train."
Yeah, waitlisted tickets. And it was a pretty busy weekend for travel up there. And George this afternoon said, you know, I'll call you and keep you updated. He says, we'll get you home. I know you have to be home. We'll figure out what to do. He says, I'm using my VIP status and all my extra tools, he said, to get you on that train. I'm like, okay, George, I know you take care of us.
But then the magic call
And
said,
then he called and said,
you ain't getting on the train.
Steve, I think I have figured out how to solve all of your problems. I'm like, great. I like that. He goes, Nataran will be driving you back to Kolkata. As soon as he is ready, he will come and get you.
You said goodbye, and we looked up, and he was walking up the driveway.
Yeah.
There he is.
So,
He said,
was
let's
awesome.
go potty and let's go home.
Let's go home. And what a drive it was.
We got in at what time?
It was exactly 3 hours.
No, it was longer than that, wasn't it? We got home at 6? 7?
No, we got it. It was 6 o'clock.
6.
Exactly 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 3 hours. That felt like 6 hours.
Very intense. Yeah, I don't. You can't even put it in words. So you'll have to put it in video.
We'll
Obviously.
throw some video, but yeah, you can't
Yeah.
describe it to me because people go, I've seen crazy driving. No, you haven't.
And it wasn't just that our driver was crazy.
Everybody.
He was actually a pretty good driver. But
Lanes don't matter.
lanes don't matter. They always figure, even if they drive right hand side, do that kind of stuff, but they're always driving in the wrong lane
Always.
into a traffic. And then even we're on what they call their freeway. I had looked down at my phone for a second. He goes into the right lane to pass a truck. I look up, and at the end of that semi-truck is an ambulance with its lights on,
Coming
coming
at us the wrong way
coming
down the
at us
highway.
as we're there. Luckily, he didn't get too far past the truck where he ducked back. Again, talk about making your hair stand on end. There was a couple sphincter puckers that.
And then there was for like 10 minutes, like a policeman was following with the sirens going, and he just was like we were in a runaway, like.
Yeah. Stop.
And I couldn't turn around and look, and I'm thinking, I finally said, is that an ambulance or a police? Or you went, I don't know. We're just evading the law.
The crazy part is that he drives with his left mirror folded in.
Yeah.
Okay, he does not look left over his shoulder. He just honks and goes, right? Expecting the cars to move.
They'll honk if
But there was times that I looked back, like there was not room for us to go in between these two cars.
Or the two big trucks that he just goes shake through.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I spent a couple times like that. I was like, nope, can't look.
And I was in the front seat, just watching it all
And
unfold.
your toes were curling, your
Oh.
sphincter was puckered, your eyes were huge.
For a while there, I had to like unclench my fist from the door
Oh.
handle because I was holding on so tight.
So it was 3 hours.
It's like imagine driving in a blizzard. You know how you get that white knuckle? Like at one point I was like, guys, I gotta let go of my camera just because my hand was hurting from gripping.
The thing that's weird about it, it's like the worst roller coaster in the world.
That's what I was about
that
to
you
say.
love.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that.
Well, I do because it's an adrenaline rush.
And I loved what we saw.
It's just kind of cool because it's almost like a movie, like you're in a chase movie.
Yeah. We saw mud houses. We saw thatched grass huts. I mean, everything.
My analogy about a roller coaster is like if you're on a roller coaster and there's another roller coaster coming at you, except they forgot to build the tracks and you're just going, and then you just have to avoid the other coaster. See, it wasn't as interesting as yours.
No, mine was like if you go on the roller coaster, you're like, I hate this, oh, let's go again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so scary, let's go again.
And everything's so close that like I find myself putting my arm up on the door.
Yeah, you don't want to
And then
stand
I'm
there
like,
for a while.
I don't really want my elbow out there getting shattered. Because
Yeah.
I just don't know how they don't wreck. I don't know.
I don't get it.
There are so many people. And it's not just the cars. In between there, there's people running across the road. There's
And
cows.
bikes.
There's bicycles on the freeway.
Yep. You crossed off one of my bucket lists. You got to take a picture of a man washing his ox.
I did. The oxen wash.
Oh,
the oxen wash.
We just saw things that we can't tell you what we saw.
We can't. We'd have to kill you if we did.
We saw oxen pulling a cart of hay.
Yeah.
Like something out of 1,000 years ago. Right? They had wooden wheels on the cart, and the guys up there whipping them, and an ox was pulling a cart. It looked like Bible times.
It was cool.
It was.
So I think today, that whole part of the day, that just was good. And I just look at today being, that was one of those days, again, that's a memory maker, things that you'll remember for the rest of your life.
The ride and being chased by monkeys, those were adrenaline, like,
the kingfisher. We saw the kingfisher.
We did.
We saw quite a few,
That's we
actually.
seen a kingfisher.
Yes.
That's been good.
And wild pigs, or at least
Yeah,
big, ugly
well, I was
pigs.
gonna think today, you're taking a picture just of this nice looking scene in the road as we're doing our walk.
It was
It
garbage.
was, okay, it was a garbage.
And it went
And you click.
click, and I went, there's a pig!
It was full on the pig in your frame about this big, right?
It just ran through with her, whoop, as I was
It was
taking it.
perfect catch.
Like a wild boar is what it looked like.
Things you
Black.
see in India.
And then we made it here. We shut the door.
After
Oh,
a
gosh.
20-minute standstill full of mosquitoes in the car.
Oh yeah.
Oh
so-
gosh, yeah, he pulls over and he says, toilet.
Oh, that too.
And so the windows are down,
We
and
took
it's
out-
along that
we took
irrigation
these,
canal
yeah.
right before you get to town, yeah.
So the car filled with mosquitoes, and then he rolls up the window, and then we sat in this really long.
And then there was another swarm of mosquitoes, and the windows are down, and the car is filled.
And I was actually feeling really uncomfortable in this traffic jam
Yeah.
because we're at a dead stop. Everybody turns off the cars. I was uncomfortable for a number of things, right? Going the other direction was bus after bus after bus.
With
and the
red
types of buses where
flags.
people are sitting on the top.
Yeah,
I mean,
with holding like
communist.
they were
bus.
communist, and it ends up being it was the
It's
communist,
the Marxist
party.
Communist Party.
Ugh.
Which is really scary to me to think that there's people here in India that are
Looking
going down that
to
route.
Karl Marx for
But as we sat in that traffic forever, because I think they had blocked the road somehow.
hundreds of thousands of people
Yeah,
going the
it
other
was
way.
pretty crazy.
We're talking, we've probably seen 500 buses filled.
So we start rolling again. We got all the way to Kolkata, and he's like, mobile map, because he doesn't have a
Yeah.
smartphone. And I knew that for a fact, even though he thought he knew where Russell Street was, that we were going to have issues.
Yeah.
And we did. He would not follow.
And he wouldn't follow
directions.
Google Maps. And you could just tell he never has before, because as soon as he handed it to me, he looked at it and he said, turn left. I said, yes, up here,
there.
turn left. And he just went, whoop, like 4 streets too early. And I'm like, no, up here. Oh. And he's like, I know. And
Which he did.
which he did. And then we're
And
somewhere
we're like,
else.
we walk here every day. We know
Know where
exactly
to
how to
go straight. He's like, no, left. Like, it's not that way.
We got here though.
We finally did. And closed the door and went, home.
So nice.
It's so nice. We were so fortunate to be here.
Yes.
And then we had one of our last suppers
Yeah.
Yes.
at Flurry's.
Flurry's, the English restaurant.
This was very good.
Had a sandwich. It was delicious.
And here we are.
End of the day.
It's a good day.
A lot of
Crazy.
excitement. One you'll remember.
Forever.
I'm so itchy.
Yes.
Don't keep touching it. That's your problem.
No.
I'm so looking forward to sleeping just under my sheet with no bugs and not
Yeah.
sweating. Took a shower. I feel amazing.
Which probably you should do.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Get some hot water on there. So tomorrow's our last day.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll do
19.
we have one more,
It'll be 19 days in India
one more update before we
hit
pick
the
up.
road.
So
Okay.
last sleep for the next
Yes, this will be the last time we
2
sleep
days.
until we
Yes.
get home.
At least horizontally.
Oh.
So till tomorrow.
Horizontal.
By tomorrow we
Vertical.
sleep vertical and diagonal.
Boom.
Good
Those are
night.
references to our class.